And joining us now, the 25th overall pick in the WNBA Draft, Pacific's Valerie Higgins. First of all, congratulations. What was that moment like when you found out that you were drafted?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was surreal. I got a text from my agent before my name popped up on the screen, and he's like, make sure you're watching. And he just said the number 25. And I was like, it was kind of cryptic. I was like, okay, maybe, it's going to happen. And I was sitting there with my family and I saw my name pop up on the screen and I just was like in complete shock. It was just such a blessing. I think I sat there and I just put my hands on my face and I was like, this is really happening. It was a dream come true. And it's just everything that I've worked for coming up, it was my dream since I was a kid to get drafted and play in the WNBA, and for everything to just kind of come together. It was an amazing moment.
So you were listed in the final mock draft on ESPN the day before the draft, but I don't remember seeing your name in a mock draft before that. Did you have any sense of what your chances of being picked were kind of before the draft?
Yeah, so it kind of also happened very quick. I think about 2 weeks or so, maybe a little bit longer than that before the draft. Coaches started calling Bradley Davis and my agent, and we started sending film out, working with my agent, and we knew it was a real possibility. We knew that, certain teams were interested in me and that, it might happen. But, the draft is everything. You never know how it's going to go. You never know what's going to happen. And so just kind of prayed, kept my fingers crossed and hoped for the best. And just the day before, I just talked to my parents and I was like, you know what, it's in God's hands. Whatever happens is meant to be. So
you're the first WNBA draft pick in program history, and if my math's correct, I think the 9th draft pick in conference history. What does that mean to you and to the Pacific program?
It means a lot to me. Going to Pacific, I knew that I was going to be with a coaching staff that believed in me, working with, people that are just amazing. The university is a great support system. And it's an honor that I was the first ever draft pick. And I just hope that it kind of sets the tone. And I don't want to be the last one. I hope that there's another girl going into Pacific that gets drafted. And it's such a blessing and an honor. I was in shock, just coming from a kid from Stockton, going to New York. So
you were a third round pick. In the past, they don't have the best record in terms of actually making the final roster. What's your sort of approach going into training camp, which starts next week for you?
Just being myself, doing what I do, working hard, being professional, I just am excited to even have the opportunity to go to a training camp and play with players that are the best, high caliber level, and just coming in with a fresh mindset. Doing what I bring to the table, defense and driving and those kinds of things, but also just having kind of a sponge mind. I want to learn, I'm going to be playing with the best players that there are in the entire world.
Have you had a chance to just kind of soak it in and realize how big of an accomplishment this is? And I think you mentioned it before, this is what you've been working towards, your whole life, your whole basketball career, and you did it.
Mm-hmm. I think it hits me more and more every hour as I'm going through this process, and just my mom will walk up to me and she's like, you got drafted in the WNBA, and I'm just like, wow, I did, I really did it. And at first I was just, it was a lot happened. I went into complete shock. Everyone was texting me and calling me, and it was a sensory overload, and then I think today I had more time just to, be with my family and just really think about, how big of an accomplishment this is, and just kind of take it all in. But I think once I get there and I step foot in the gym, it's really gonna hit me.